Welcome back, anybody listening again. This is Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse and DPayne.
Hello.
This episode, we will be talking about superpowers. But before we jump into the episode and everything, we do have an announcement that I'll let DPayne take away.
Yeah, double digits. There we go. We're in the double digits. Episode 10. Firework explosion. Explosion. Air horn. Boo, 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 boo. And that's not the announcement, though. But let's see. Did you think that we'd ever hit double digits?
I went into this just trying to have a good time, and we have not run out of topics. So let's keep on chugging
Glad you
through.
continued that sentence. And I'm going to cut it right there for like the intro. Came in here to have a good time, and I have not. Or we have not. There we go. Okay. Anyone listening or got to this far in the episode, you now know what the cold open is. Yeah, no. I think we both have the same mindset of like, yeah, let's have fun. Do the things. But yeah, our announcement is really simple. August 1st, we're doing our community stream, which was one of the unlocks for the charity event that we did. Was it like a month ago now?
Almost, yeah.
Oh, COVID made time feel weird. It's yeah, so pretty much we're asking everybody that listens, wow, that was work. And anyone that listens or and enjoys or maybe just doesn't enjoy, we'll take any, to send in questions or quizzes that you'd like us to take. They could be questions really about almost anything. If it gets into the side of creepy, we will say bye-bye, Freakazoid, try again. But yeah, if it's stuff like from streaming questions to like I don't know, DPayne, how many eggs can you eat in one sitting, to Hop, what is the thirstiest person you could thirst after? I don't know. 2D person. I don't know. As this was coming out of my mouth, I realized I don't know.
And hopefully we can get them all answered if you guys send us these questions for the community podcast episode.
I guess in context, if people just listen to this or only familiar with one side of this, the reason why I was saying that is because Hop really likes the characters in Fire Emblem.
I like a lot of 2D characters. I also enjoy Monster Prom.
Oh yeah, don't they have like Camp Edition?
Yeah, I think there is. I don't know if I missed the demo preview of that, but I know I kickstarted it. So whenever that's fully released, I will be in on that. And then I have close eyes on Boyfriend Dungeon as well.
Oh, I've been waiting for that for years. I'm like, this is so cool.
But yeah, as far as questions go, for the most part, we're both pretty open people. So content creation, streaming in particular, podcasts, networking, or just asking us like, hey, what's your favorite A, B, or C? We'll be open to talk about it. Just feel free to send it to us. You have until
the last week in July.
Last week of July. The easiest way to reach out to us, we've announced it before, DPayne and I are both open to having DMs sent to us on either Discord or Twitter. And then we also have the shared Twitter for this podcast, which is twitter.com/pointlessdisco.
Yeah. And yeah, we keep reminding people. I just realized I didn't even check like the DMs for for Pointless Disco to see if there was anything.
But it's almost more surprising when we'll open them all like a big Christmas present on the due date.
they'll be like, hey, what was the direct message I was getting yesterday? I got another, hey, the best Twitch service on. from the Korean username that I had to look up to find out what it meant.
Yes, your spam.
I got another one. It's the same exact message. I'm gonna click it.
Please don't.
Live on podcast.
And this is when we lose DPayne and everything crashes.
DPayne clicks said link, and all of a sudden he is taken to Korea. Which one? I don't know. That's for the link to decide. Well, today today we're talking about a subject that as I was saying, as me and I was about to call you, wow, words, as me and Hop. There we go. We're talking before the podcast. Man, I'm hooked on phonics.
No more 4 a.m. games for you.
No, I'm going to do all the 5 a.m. games. We were talking before the podcast that, yeah, superhero stuff I've been reading for a while, and superpowers is like, I don't know. I've always imagined when I was younger, um, like if like what superpowers I would have. So, if people haven't figured out, we're gonna find out our god tier, devil tier ranks of superpowers. I don't know how you went across at it, but I also know that this week was a little bit weird. So I came at it was like, what powers would, if I had, would be the ones I would want, or
That's how I looked at it, because we never said that this was going to be a factual podcast. This was our personal opinions through and through. So I figured doing it from the point of view of would we want this power, I think is the best way to have done it.
so. I'm trying to remember. You said that you were watching what was it? It was like a British TV show.
Misfits.
Misfits.
But I realized
then,
I didn't really pick powers from. I kind of picked powers from there, but nothing so specific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, well, if anyone's been in our conversations for other streams, y'all heard us talk about my hero and what's the other? There was another superhero thing. I felt there was like another one that was mentioned.
There's one that I picked one from, but I don't know if it's actually a very popular anime or manga, but I don't want to. I'll leave it. I'll discuss it once we start talking about our topics.
Oh, now I'm just thinking of another. Okay, well, I don't know. The manga I was just about to mention. I was like, oh, I forgot about the superhero manga, which is like, it's really cool. But I don't know a lot of people that mention it, but I don't want to say it and find out, oh, Hop knows that one. So, but no, none of my powers are taken from that one either. So, yeah. So for anyone, if you're new or haven't listened in a while, what we do right now is that we roll for initiatives because we're big tabletop role playing nerds, and we're like, we just want to find more excuses to roll die. So we roll. Whoever has the highest will go first, and then the person that gets second place will, if their number is odd or even, we'll just determine if we go for god tier or devil tier. So I roll. Oh, well, I'm a natural 3.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go first. I rolled a 9.
Well, we're still going devil tier.
Either way, both odd numbers. Yep. So
Yes.
if DPayne had rolled an even, we would have talked about the ones that we consider god tier first. But first, we're going devil tier. So we start off with our runner-ups, our second least favorite out of the powers. And I will admit, this is not a specialty of mine. Superhero stuff has never really been something I've been interested in. I didn't really get into comics until later on, and a lot of the comics that I read don't tend to be power-focused. They're more people-focused, I guess I would say. But
That's why I'm here.
here's my fact checker. But so my runner-up is, I kind of couldn't decide between the two because both of these seem really inconvenient from any time I've seen them depicted, are telepathy and or conversing with the dead. Every time I see those in anything, you have this huge learning curve of, if you weren't born with it, then suddenly one day you hear all these voices you didn't want to hear, you don't know how to filter it out. And while telepathy at first seems bad, because every time I've seen it, it's like, hey, we're best friends. And then the best friend's like, wow, you look hideous today. I wish I didn't have to talk to you. And the main character's like, ouch, my feelings hurt. Why did you say that to me? And the person's like, I didn't say anything. I'm like, well, that sucks.
So, real quick, I'm going to go out of order because this is my number 1 worst power.
Yes! I tied conversing with the dead with it because I couldn't decide out of the two. Because it's that same feeling, I think, of I would not want to have to learn how to deal with all the voices. But conversing with the dead, at this point in history, there's so many more dead people than living people. Imagine the number of voices. You couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and they're probably all the bad ones that are just there like, hey, you go steal that thing. You're like, no.
Or it's the really sad ones that are like, every time I see it in shows, they're like, I can't move on. Can you help me move on? Can you tell my family I love them? Your family's going to think I'm crazy because I don't know you.
Yeah, it's yeah, you pretty much said a lot of things that I was also thinking of, like even if the people were born with it. So what really made me think about that, so when I think of like I wrote mind reading because I didn't think of the technical term, but yeah, telepathy, like I think of Professor X.
Okay.
Because that's what he was. By the way, for anyone that is listening now or later, a lot of my probably power influences are going to come from X-Men because I am a huge X-Men nerd, and I have a lot of X-Men comics. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth. Like X-Men was what brought me into comics, pretty much. Going to the library and taking them out. But the thing is like now, like, so Professor X, like he was always like this like cool like old dude, like kind of mentoring and all that stuff. And I think it was back in like 2015-ish, 16, around there, they did a storyline where they went back in time and found out that Professor X actually mind controlled all, like, just straight up erased memories in like the original X-Men and like manipulated them. And then the old X-Men, like due to funky time stuff, like it actually was brought to the future current timeline, and then they all know, and they're like, well, we can't go back because then Professor X is just going to read our minds and then take that out. And it's just like, oh. But but like that's normally what I think of when I think of telepathy. But there's another podcast I listen to. It's a story-based podcast, which they actually finished the story, and it's called, I think it's called the AM Chronicles, and it's like people that have superpowers in current day, and it's like there's a lot of government stuff in there, but like how the government people are trying to like learn and control and use powers, but it's all set up with this person who doesn't have powers that is this psychiatric doctor. I can't remember. They're like a mental health therapist for these people with powers.
Okay.
And like kind of helps them like, hey, learn your powers. And one of the people in there has like mind reading, and she, like, when she first comes in, she's like, yeah, I hear the angels talk to me and they tell me what people are thinking. They're like, no, it's not angels. And so it's a really cool podcast. If people like story-based podcast stuff, it's a really neat one. But yeah, like after listening to that, and then like just, yeah, mind control is just, there's just some things, like for humanity to work, there has to be privacy, which, oh man, that hits on other things, but we ain't here to talk about that. So.
Yeah, like it does feel extremely invasive. I did also have that as a little bullet point. I only had 2 bullet points: overwhelming, too much to learn, and then I just have in capital letters, so invasive. Because there is a level of kind of trust that we give to other people, and having the ability to like read their minds and know their true thoughts kind of you can't help but ruin that trust. It's really hard, I think, to be able to, plus being able to filter out which voices are their actual voices versus their or like their inner thoughts has also got to be overwhelming, because people are thinking 24/7. People don't talk 24/7. If people talked 24/7, I would wear earmuffs everywhere. But if you could read people's minds, you can't wear earmuffs.
Yeah. Brain brain muffs.
Brain muffs.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that is really crazy. And then like I don't know, I'm also gonna pull another sub like thing off of something that they went through that podcast, where the person who had uh the brain reading powers got a concussion at one point, and it's like, yeah, like it's all like brain focused, and then when you have that happen, it's like, oh no, it hurts. It hurts the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So to use, I don't know, it's, yeah, my, like, just it's definitely one of those powers where it's like I just don't see a lot of benefits for it, and would be more of a hassle, because like the only person that would legitimately understand what you're going through is another mind reader, and then you guys literally just don't talk. You just talk with your brain.
Yeah, brain to brain. Yeah,
And
yeah,
really interesting.
the only situation I could see it being particularly useful is, I guess, if your job is to, get the truth out of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
chat said,
government work.
yeah, the chat said that you could be a badass spy. Like, that's an option. But I think there are also technically other powers that are truth serum y powers. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's got to be a
Yeah,
thing in some
yeah,
universe.
there is there, but like here's the other thing, because what, like, yeah, that would work, but how do you know that what that person is thinking is true? Because you're only hearing the truth from one side, because there's a lot of people that think untrue things. So it's like that's the other thing.
Perspectives.
It's like, yeah, and so it's like one of those things where it's very much like if you look at Twitch clips or the beginning of the podcast, when I take the cold open and put it in there, it's out of context and you don't know what everything's being talked about. And say if your range is like, I don't know, 30 feet, oh, D&D, and you get there and it's just like, actually, I think message is like 120. Oh, well, that's a different thing.
Message, you have to like know the location of someone, and then there's
Yeah,
sending, which is different.
sending, yeah. The great thing is that you can send message, but then if they can't respond.
Mm-hmm. They
Like,
just hear it.
you just hope they got it. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like when you listen to a normal conversation, and it's okay. Here's a good way to explain it for this audience, of which I'm pretty sure everyone here gets it. You come into a stream that's already live, and then you just had the people mid conversation talking, yelling, or whatever, and you don't have the context before it. And it's like, okay, well, if you're doing that kind of work, like you literally just have to ghost a person for 24 hours to understand the context of that day. And so I feel like it's just another thing that you wouldn't need to know the person well to understand like what those thoughts mean. And so there's just so much more trouble to this power than is worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's really hard to see a big benefit for it. Like, there are a lot of powers that I could think, I'm like, it'd be inconvenient if this happened. But this one just seems so inconvenient.
now interrogation, that would probably work, because
If you put them enough stress, then they're trying to think of what they should say.
yeah, and
But
then yeah, like, so that would probably be a better use of it than spy work. Like, where would this power work? Oh, it would work really well as an elementary school teacher.
oh, those kids' thoughts are gotta be so loud, though.
Yeah, but it's
I have to poop.
Jimmy, just go. How'd you know? Not here, not here. But yeah, it actually, there's a book that I remember reading where this teacher had the ability to read thoughts and just used it to torture her 5th grade class.
Oh no.
And it was really weird, where they um the way it worked is that she had an ear that sat on the top of her head, and she just always never cut her hair, and that ear could hear thoughts. And so I just remember there's one part, I don't even remember the name of the book, but it's just like they're sitting there, and she just hears this thought like, "Oh no, I just ripped the book in I just ripped like accidentally ripped the page out of the dictionary, and it's this page." And so the teacher heard that thought, and she's like, "Okay," and then waited like 5-10 minutes and told the kid, "Hey, can you bring oh, it was an encyclopedia. Can you bring the encyclopedia over and open up the aardvark, which was the page she ripped out?" And they're just like, and then this teacher, and then I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, as bad as telepathy seems, but having the only way to have telepathy is by having an ear growing on the top of your head sounds even more inconvenient than just the ability to read
Oh
people's
yeah.
minds at all times. Because,
Mhm.
like, my hair doesn't grow in a nice way to allow an ear to be hidden underneath my hair.
Mine's going away. So
Eventually, your secret will be found.
that make headphones so much more annoying.
Well, you have your normal ears, and then
Yeah,
your
but
telepathic ear.
it was a physical ear for this girl.
Hmm. So it wasn't like a satellite radio. It was just like
It was like, from what I remember, it was like a physical ear that just sat on the top of her head that she covered with her hair.
weird.
Yeah, books are dumb. So,
All right. What's your
um,
runner-up?
let's see. That was yeah. So, for people who didn't that missed it, the telepathy one was also my number one. So, um, so my runner up, I couldn't remember the actual name for this, but pretty much what it was is becoming what you touch. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so like, okay, once again, big comic book nerd. There is a comic when the Avengers first started, and this was like I think right as they found Captain America and unthawed him. Um, they what was it? There was this person, I don't even remember their name, but he had this ability to become whatever he touched. And so, and like I just remember like all the Avengers were trying to fight him, and he just was like in the perfect scenario where he was like, "Oh no, I'm being attacked. Oh hey, Iron Man, I touched you," and then he became like all iron, and like attack's gonna hurt him, and then like Hawkeye would pull out trick arrows, and he's like, and he would like touch this other thing, and it wouldn't work, and then someone was like, and then like. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? And he like knocked them all out, and then he went and like touched glass and became transparent and just ran away. And so they're just like, haha. And then here's like how bad this power is, because the way they beat him, and I don't know if this character ever comes back. He was just so lame, I never really wanted to look him up. Um is like he's still in like his glass form, gets away. Hawkeye sees him, shoots like some hammer arrows at him, and he grabs like this rubber like tire that's near the like they're on docks, turns to rubber, and he's like the arrows bounce off, and he's like, haha, what are you gonna do now? And then Vision shows up, and they're just like, oh, you can become whatever you want, here, hold my hands. And they're like, no. He's like, fine, I'm gonna take everything and be the most indestructible thing. Well, I don't know if in the movie if it shows this, but um the Vision is able to like change his mass and all this stuff, and like he's able to change what he's made up of. So he's like, okay, hey, you like this? And he just makes him like the most heavy thing and can't move, and he's just like, how does that feel? And he's just like, I don't like it, guy. And he's like, hey, how about this? And just makes him intangible. And the guy is like, and like the Vision's just standing there as the guy, like he doesn't know how to work this power, so he proceeds to fall through the dock into the water to where he touches water, and proceeds to where the Avengers like, oh, should we go stop him? Should we like go like trying to catch him? And I think the Vision sits there and he's like, No, I just looked at the water. All his molecules just got swept apart in the ocean. He's dead.
Ugh. Oh, that's a way to go.
Yeah, and so, and it's funny because like he turns back to normal, like while he's in the ocean, he's like, and then he's like, I'm gonna be caught, and he's like, yeah, like just slapping the water until he turns to water, and then he's just like, you'll never, just disperses.
Yeah,
Molecule Man, yeah, that's his name.
that does seem too easy to counter against.
Yeah, that's
Like
why I don't think it really came back.
even if you wear gloves,
You become fabric.
become fabric. There is no
Now imagine if you touch noodles.
noodle man.
I am stringy, saucy, and really weird to listen to.
The noise he would make while he walks. Yeah, I don't see any benefits to that. I can see where in the writing room someone was like, wouldn't it be cool if I touched, what's the metal that Captain America's shield's made out of?
Adamantium.
Yeah. It's like, what if someone touched that and turned into that? Because you can't get that everywhere. It's like, yeah, but you realize he would touch anything. How did he eat his whole life?
Yeah, just never really covered.
Like,
He just shows up, to my knowledge.
unless he eats with his feet, or is it anything he touches, not just his hands?
I don't know. If I remember right, it's his hands.
Okay. So, so
Yeah,
maybe.
no, it's like a terrible existence to just think about it.
Imagine getting a
And
high five as a kid and you obtain some power from your friend. Like, oh, do you have sweat issues? It's like, yeah, how did you know? I can't stop sweating after we high fived.
well, that's a different person.
Oh.
Like this, yeah, that's Rogue from X-Men.
Well,
And
I thought Rogue just stole life force, not necessarily.
she steals power. Like it gets translated weird,
Okay.
like depending on who's writing it. But she's able to, like, that's her whole thing, is that she absorbs people's powers.
I do remember there's a whole storyline where people transform over time because of Rogue and stuff, and it all confuses me.
Yeah,
Timelines.
Rogue is weird. And then there's a real fun side of the X-Men where if when you realize that there's sewer mutants that no one wants to talk to, and there's one just called, I think his name is Leech or something like that, and his power is just to cancel out all powers.
Okay.
And they're just like, they look like 80s motorcycle punk people. Like they have leather jackets, mohawks, and they're just like just really disgusting looking people. Like it's like not that I think mohawks and leather jackets are disgusting. Like these people are drawn like
Sewer people.
they're like decrepit and gross because they lived in the sewers in the 80s.
Was this when like Ninja Turtles made it big? So they were like, we need sewer things.
I don't know. Maybe. It like everything in X-Men stands for something. Like it's I just don't know what that one stands for.
There's symbology somewhere in it, but it's just
yeah.
gross.
Mhm. But yeah, but no, this guy, it's more like it's just more of like, I guess, like just he wouldn't gain powers, he would just gain like the molecular structure of whatever the thing is, and it would just
I wasn't considering sweating more than usual a power. I was considering it a medical condition.
yeah.
I don't,
But like that whole thing is like that Rogue would get that.
So if he were to high five his friend, would his hand just become his friend's hand? Like I don't.
Like I think he would just
He would become more human.
Yeah, he would just like, I guess that's like how he resets.
Hold my hand.
Let me go, Jack.
I don't want to be a sweater anymore.
Yeah. And there's that, like, and it just seems like to be a terrible power. And like I don't know enough about Molecule Man, as Chat was saying, that if he did have some sort of control where if there was a way to just turn it on and off, or anything. I think if I'm remembering correctly, there was like a time limit for each thing. Like he would turn and then like I don't know. I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number because I don't know. If it was like 10 minutes, that he would go back to his base form, but which was human, if anyone was wondering. And that's very true. You don't need hands to eat. Yeah, he literally just turns into sweat. But yeah, it's just not a fun time.
No,
So much.
it seems like a stressful existence.
Yeah, imagine having that during like I don't know, childhood.
Every time
Or
you go
like
to change your clothes, you turn into jeans.
yeah. Every time you have to take the state test, you turn into a number 2 standardized pencil.
And then you touch the paper, then you become the paper.
Yep.
There's no winning.
Especially when you're a villain in the 80s.
So that was your runner-up, and we already kind of touched your least favorite, right?
Yeah, we touched the least favorite, which if anyone didn't catch it, my least favorite was telepathy, mind reading. So
Yeah.
What's your number 1 devil tier?
I put this in the number 1 devil tier because I could not think of a reason I could ever use this. Like telepathy, like I could kind of vaguely think of reasons, but it just seems inconvenient. I have no idea when, why, or how I could use X-ray vision and not be put on a criminal list.
ESA.
So I could stand there and say, but then I can't even share what I see into like a screen for people. I'm just like, the telepathy is invasive in your thoughts because sometimes people should have thoughts to themselves. But X-ray vision, if I have trouble being able to look at it or being able to control it, sometimes I might accidentally blink and go, "Oh no, I didn't need to see it."
Oh, that would make cons for you terrible.
So many people all at once.
Not just the sweat and smell, but now you have the vision. Oh my goodness, just sitting there just like, oh my gosh. That's why Superman always flies away.
But yeah, like X-ray vision, other than the TSA, doesn't have any purposes. And then chat said I would just live at the beach. I mean, I guess depending on the beach, they might have it all out already. Europe has nude beaches, right? But otherwise, it's just
Oh man. Okay, so this is how this could work. If you also doubled this with super hearing, you could sit there and look through someone's wall and then listen to their TV and watch TV.
Stealing cable.
Yeah.
I guess the other use would be depending on the strength of the X-ray vision. If, so much material made it so that I couldn't see further in, maybe I would be hired to do surveillance for spy groups. Just like how we kind of joke that telepathy might be for spies or interrogations. It'd be the same kind of thing where I'd have the X-ray vision. They'd be like, "Hey, we're getting some suspicious calls about this house. Can you see if we need to send in a SWAT team?" And I go, "No, it's just a streamer who doesn't know that they're being swatted."
That'd be crazy. Yeah, so surveillance would work. Yeah, if you know how to
strength check it.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's definitely one of those things where it's like there's definitely uses for it, but it would be limited.
It's very niche.
What it could do.
And I don't think that, if you were stuck with just one power, like a lot of universes tend to do it, where you only have one power, if you only had X-ray vision, I don't know that you could necessarily do anything exciting or out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Superman, who has X-ray vision, he has X-ray vision, he has flight, he's strong as heck. He he has laser eyes. Like,
Heck.
when does he even use his X-ray vision? Is it
Um,
is it to see if someone has a gun on them?
yeah, like he mainly, from what I understand, like it just depends on what time period. Uh, Sometimes he uses it to search for bombs because, like, in the World War II
Mm-hmm.
era, and or rather post World War II, like when the cartoons were out. It might have been around the same time. Like he would use it to go find Lois Lane in when she was captured, like by Nazis, or like go and find a bomb that was left somewhere. And he would use it then. Now he kind of uses it to scan buildings, like if he needs to go like save someone, to pull someone out of like a burning building or something.
So
So
yeah, so I still think it needs to be coupled with another power, because
yeah.
he has his flight and stuff where if he finds something or someone stuck in the rubble, he can lift the rubble, he can fly to the building, he can X, Y, and Z. Whereas 5'2" me, if I got X-ray vision, I would see that there's a problem and call the cops, and they'd be like, "How do you know?" It's like, just trust me, I can see
Yeah.
it.
It's just I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where for it to be effective, it definitely it needs to be with something.
Yeah, maybe I'll flip flop this and put telepathy is actually my worst, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. These are. Mm.
Yeah, it's sorry. I'm in the process of downloading Twitch on my phone. So we
Oh.
can I'm like multitasking and I'm like, that's why I keep looking down. Okay. There we go. Hold on, there we go. There. Boom. That's all I was trying to do the last couple minutes. I was listening, and I did.
No, you did interact. You're fine. But yeah, X-ray vision.
Superpowers is one of those things I can talk while like But yeah, it definitely seems. My phone is talking. Shush.
I think there are less downsides to X-ray vision than there are telepathy. That's why I was considering like swapping which one I actually think is worse. But I would want X-ray vision less than I would want telepathy.
Mm-hmm. Is this talking? Is my phone talking to me? I was hearing an echo somewhere. Did something like unclick? Okay, I guess not. I'm just crazy. Here we go. So, but yeah, no, I could understand that. It's now I gotta find where my notes are. There we go.
Too much multitasking.
Yeah, it definitely seems like either you would need like to be like it just seems like it would be something where you're a government agent or like police or something, at least to be like protected and all that. I don't know, I'm just thinking of some of the protests you could just easily just look through, like, because then it's the other, like, I understand like Marvel and DC, people with X-ray vision, they're not going to show the person looking at just like straight like flesh and all that. There's actually someone who in the Runaways, they have X-ray goggles that they find, and all it does is that it just gets rid of the outer layer of clothing, so that way they don't get in trouble of showing any of the naughty bits. But the way they use that is, since it gets rid of all of like their outer layer of clothing, they're able to see if the person has like weapons or anything on them, because that doesn't get taken out. So they're able to do that. There's uses, but as we said, it's a very niche use.
Yeah, and I feel like if people ever found out you have that power, and then they're like, I can't trust you, I can't be around you, because who knows if you're using it.
Yeah. Like, okay, so now I'm looking at it from the side of, okay, so like in My Hero Academia, like there's people that have very like weird powers or very much classical powers with a spin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say any spoilers, but one of the things they are always saying there is like you have to keep training and learning your power or your quirk better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking, like, how would someone with this power use this? And it's, they already have gross tar head boy, so like they're okay showing things. Um, but like I'm just thinking, like, okay, could they train us to the part where they are able to, like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the best way of saying this, but it's like they would train this so maybe like with extreme focus, they were able to see actual muscle tissue, so that way they could find out how someone was moving to attack them or move forward.
That'd be a creative way to use it. I think the only way you'd be able to like train yourself up from that is maybe if you progressively practice seeing things in different layers. Like, you know how you have like manila envelopes and you can just stack them full of paper, and maybe at different things have different things, and a teacher would be like, what's it say on sheet X or sheet Y? And I would assume if you don't have great control over it, you would just see through it entirely and just be like, I see nothing. Or if you're not focused enough, maybe all the different layers overlap. So I guess that is a way to train it.
Because like that would be, I think that would be an interesting take. Like if it was just your only power.
Mm-hmm.
Because like then, because now I'm saying like with that, it's just like if it's untrained, like maybe you can only see one layer or you just see through the whole building. But then it's like a focus, like a camera lens focus, where you're able to like fine tune. Like if you're looking at a building, you're able to
2.5
like,
times, 6
yeah.
times.
Yeah. So like something like that. So I think there would be some interesting ways to play with it. It's just generally it feels like it's one of those add-on powers.
Yeah, it's that surface level power where it's like, what else can you do? Oh, I can also see through buildings. Do you need to? Probably not. But it's also
but it was
what
on
I
the
do.
bargain bin.
Okay. But yeah, those are our bottom tier ones. So then oh yeah,
Yes,
we already talked about your least.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was like, I'm going back to back.
Yep.
But you kind of touched on what my runner up is by the way you tried to think of a different way to look at the X-ray vision. My runner up is I kind of got the idea from it. It's kind of in My Hero, but the version that I like is in the anime Bungo Stray Dogs, if you've ever watched that.
No, I don't think I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. That one kind of has, I forget if everybody has powers or if it's just this particular detective agency and certain like gangs that they deal with have powers. But so do you remember Night Eye in My Hero?
Night Eye.
He's got like the foresight ability.
Yes.
But his is very,
what did he look like?
he's got green hair, very tall, glasses, big nerd for All Might, but won't admit. He was like All Might's old number 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like super prim and proper.
Yeah. So his is the, I believe, if I remember his restrictions properly, he has to look you in the eye, can only use it on you like once a day, and then can see like your future endings and within a time, like within a day or something like that. His was very limiting, but I kind of thought of him for this power. Then I remembered in Bungo Stray Dogs, there's a character slipping my mind right now, but he basically has the ability to kind of consistently see like 5 minutes ahead, and that he can try to puzzle out how to force the 5 minutes ahead of him into an ending that he would prefer. So it's that whole like, the way I think about it is kind of like chess, where you're like, all right, this is my guess for your next 5 moves. What do I do to not get hurt by you? Which I think is pretty interesting and pretty cool. And it is kind of how you thought about the X-ray vision. If you could look at it and then you can think of it in such a way that maybe you could start to predict how the enemy will fight you, then you are at a great advantage, whether or not you have any other abilities built in.
Mhm. Yeah, it would. It's also reminding me of like because I was thinking of this as well. I can't remember the manga I was reading, but it was very something very similar. It was more like a martial arts kind of thing, but this person like trained to the point where like he's able to see like 30 seconds before someone moves. Actually, I think it's less than that. It's like 10 seconds before someone's able to do their move. And so he's like, when it first activates, he's like, someone punches and he like dodges, but everyone's sitting there looking. They're like, you, you, what are you doing? They didn't do anything. And so, like, he has to train this ability. But, that would be, oh man, it would make dodgeball really interesting.
Wouldn't it? Like,
It would make
imagine.
any sports anime really cool.
I feel like Kuroko no Basket kind of tried to do it at some points, but theirs was less so an actual precognition or foresight and more just like, I played basketball with all these guys before, so this is
Mhm.
where I think they're gonna do because they only have their one trick ponies.
Is that the see-through blue-haired boy?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I read that. And then the zone where there's just like they pretty much go basketball Super Saiyan.
Basically. I did enjoy that one out of all the sports anime.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, but I would be careful looking up this character in Bungo Stray Dogs. As in chat, I don't remember how to say his full name. I'm going to butcher it, but it's Oda, is the name that he usually goes by in the show. Me looking up the wiki has a lot of spoilers. Good thing I watched all of this show already.
Otherwise, you ban Wikipedia.
But yeah, so his is very much the whole. I think they call it flawless according to this wiki. Because the whole concept of being able to see far enough into the future to manipulate it into, the ideal future where he doesn't get hurt and things like that.
Mhm. It reminds me a lot of there was this TV show I used to watch on like when I was younger, and pretty much this guy he would get the next day's um, newspaper.
Okay.
So, so, for example, when like I would wake up if I had this ability, I would wake up and receive Sunday's newspaper. And what he would do is read the headlines and find out like this big murder or something and then try to go stop it.
Okay.
But like all he had was the context of that article. And then like as so normally every episode would be just a one-off for that. And then there was one episode where like he tries to stop it but he's a little bit too late and then gets framed for it. And then like pretty much the way this cat, it's always the same cat that goes and brings him this newspaper. Like it's just, and so he's sitting there in the police office he's like, what the heck am I going to do? And he just looks over and the cat's there with the newspaper and he's just like and it just says on the headline, murder suspect escapes through the out of the window on the second floor. And he's like, what? No. And he's like, oh, that's me. And so like he just grabs the newspaper and just jumps out the window, lands on a truck and like drives away. And
That's funny.
like, it's like, oh man. And so there were some cool things that they did with it, like, but that was pretty much it. And then he would, like, if he changed something significant, like that's normally what happened is like he would get to the halfway point of the episode, he would look at it and like the newspaper would change according to what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then like sometimes it brought this other twist in, but like it that kind of is what it's reminding me of, where it's like the potential ending. Now it's like trying to figure out, like, you had to be really smart for this power.
Yes. Yeah, like the wiki explains that usually surprise attacks and things are where he shines because, you have the 5 to 6 seconds. But if it's like a long-term trap, then he can't necessarily like see it to stop it if it's something that happened so long ago or is a long going on kind of thing. But no, yeah, I agree. And I think that's why I compare it to chess, where it's you have a small glimpse of what could be, and then you gotta make a move. It's
So
not because 5 to 6
sorry.
seconds isn't much time.
Mm-hmm. So, so is he just constantly always seeing 5 seconds into the future?
I think the phrasing is flawless is an ability that allowed Oda to predict 5 to 6 seconds into the future. He can see them coming 5 seconds before, however, it has its limitations.
Chat saying he has to activate it.
The future that he sees with this ability is limited to his current decision. If he decides to change his actions based on the vision he sees, then he'll see another future play out.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that I'm unfamiliar with it, and like if people are just joining now, I'm much more Marvel DC kind of comic based, and when Marvel and DC interact with time stuff, it's mainly time travel or different dimensions or stuff like that. I'm pretty sure there is people with time power. Like there's someone that they're all they do is a new X-Men and they just make a time bubble. And like the Avengers are trying to like go and talk to like this split of the X-Men that are like kind of becoming terrorists. And they're like, "Listen, we just want to talk with you." And then some of the teachers of there like get all mad and the person's like time bubble, and everyone's just frozen, and then she's able to like pull people out of the time bubble. And so what looks like 1 second, like, or what for them is like 5 minutes as they escape, is like passes by 1 second for anyone that's frozen.
Okay, yeah,
So
I get that.
it's but it's a very clear bubble that appears.
Very visible one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting though because what I have noticed is at least I feel like you said with like DC and Marvel and comic stuff, they have so many timelines that if they do time manipulation, it's like grand scale.
Mm-hmm.
Reshifting the timelines and things like that.
It reminds me a lot of the anime. I think it's Mir. Miraniki. It's like My Future Diary or something like that, where people are getting like diary. They're able to see the future on their cell phone.
Oh, I
And
didn't watch that. I did see it around a lot though.
yeah, well, I read it and like not to give any kind of spoilery stuff. Like they talk about timeline splitting, where it's just like, hey, there's another anime that happens with this. Oh no, it's My Hero Reborn. My Hero Reborn talks about this. Is it My Hero Reborn? Or yes, it's pretty much the baby assassin that teaches that kid to become a mob boss. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, not My Hero. It's like Assassin Reborn or something.
Well, what you described almost sounds like Assassination Classroom, but I don't remember there being timeline stuff in that.
It's not that. No, there's if someone knows what I'm talking about in the chat, it's pretty much like this. It's a really cool anime, but it goes into that thing where they in this anime, Hitman Reborn. That's what it's called, Hitman Reborn. Some people just call it Reborn. Okay, thanks. But there's a time where they go into the future and they say, look, here is one future, and the fact that you guys know this future, when you go back in time, you are no longer on timeline A, you are on timeline B. And if you do this, and it's like, so there was a character that was repeatedly doing this and just destroying timelines until he got what he wanted. And that is kind of what like the Marvel and DC universes are. It's like, here's timeline A, which then they just call Universe 1, and then there's Universe 2. And so the Marvel comic universe is like Universe 649 or something like that, or 646. I can't remember. It's something up there. And then the Marvel Cinematic Universe is its own timeline as well. So, which is also its own universe. And so that's kind of how they deal with their powers. But like I don't know anyone. If anyone, probably Doctor Strange is someone who probably has like that precognition kind of. There's people that have precognition, but not the way you're describing it, where it's just kind of like a danger sense. Actually, Spider-Man with a
Spidey senses.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing. But
That's more like a gut feeling, but
mhm,
ramped up to the point where he can actually follow
yeah,
it, right? Yeah.
yeah. Like if I remember reading it right, he doesn't know what it is, but like his body is able to sense. Like apparently spiders are able to do this. Like they're able to sense danger and just get away from it. Apparently that's something spiders can do, and
Why do
that's
they keep
where
showing up in this house for me to squish them with slippers?
like it's not a perfect system. I'm just thinking like, yes, I'm free from the outside. Ah, slippers.
But yeah, so that's my runner up.
All right. I was having a real rough time for my runner-up. Um, it's pretty much two, like not two, but there was just two I kept coming up to, and my brother was like, the one that I wrote down that is my runner-up. He's like, that's real dumb, and I was like you're the one who wants stupid stretchy arms, like Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man. Sorry, they're just dumb.
It's convenient because I'm short.
I'm just thinking of Muppets Treasure Island, which I think I remember you saying you didn't watch a lot of Muppets, but there's a part where they try to torture Gonzo to get information out of him,
Mm-hmm.
and they just stretch his arms out, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, this feels so good! You just popped my back!" And he's just like, they keep like yanking his arms out, and then they're like, "How are we gonna fix them?" And he's just like, "Look at me, I can play for the NBA," and his arms are just like wiggling all around. But for me, I'll say my runner up. I'm not going to talk about it because I could talk about it for this one. I was thinking kind of like Magneto, where he has control over metal. I thought would be a super OP power during this time.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it, weather control, like Storm, is one that I thought, I don't know, that just would be really cool to have. One, because I could cool down my apartment.
Just always a cloud above your apartment.
Yes. Like my top two powers are very much like yeah, wrong weather. uh very much like convenience kind of stuff for me. Where it's like, I don't know, I like colder weather and I like the snow. So I would just like, no matter where people fall on like the whole like global warming thing, like it's not what we're talking about, but man, weather powers would mess with all kind of whatever things they look to predict or study. That they're just like, oh man, it's the middle of the desert, oh it's snowing, wait, what?
I feel like the only major downside to this power would essentially be people would try and find any way to pay you, like, my crops aren't doing so good. Can you make it rain over here? Or, I've never seen snow before. Could you, like, make it snow in California? Like, that's the biggest downside I could see. You'd have people calling you up, like, I'm a news weather person and I want to be right 100% of the time.
Oh yeah, well with that you just say like, you say sure, and then you just strike them with lightning. Nah, well, the first one you said, like, would you pay, like, what can we pay you? Like, yes.
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 Start the bids.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's just one of those things, like, for one, it would really help a lot of people, for sure. Like, if I had this power, I wouldn't be able to stream.
You'd be out there 24/7.
Yeah. Or it'd just be like an IRL stream the whole time.
Just a little GoPro on your shoulder.
Yeah. Until I got hit by like a hail ball or something. Now I know for Storm, which is the Marvel character that has this power. I don't know if there's anyone from DC. If chat knows, feel free to share. I don't know if there is someone like this. I think Storm, at least in the Marvel side of it, is the only one that's able to control all weather. There's people like the Human Torch or like Aquaman that are able to control some aspects of a certain element, like fire or water, but like she just controls all weather. And it's it's just one of those things, like she has it tied to her emotions. So if she's just having a particular bad day, she could just have a monsoon just show up. Which, now I'm thinking about it, Hoppa said multiple times, I'm one of the people that doesn't have like a super salty or like a terrible reaction when playing League or TFT normally. So
Normally.
I don't know. I might be one of the best people to have this power. My ability to not react. But yeah, so there's that. Um,
So the best I could find, but this is a very like quick search. Apparently there is a weather wizard that shows up in Flash.
oh yeah, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, he has like a gun that shoots weather. I
Yeah,
think, right? Or...
this one it says originally there was a wand, and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you were saying, I do remember that. Tempest. This sounds like a DC. I don't know. Um, However, one of the downsides that I think a lot of people don't like, to my knowledge, don't bring up in comics, because this would be one heck of a storyline, but I know it would happen. Is okay. Let's say we get the scenario. DPayne has this power, and he's able to help people like by watering crops, going like bringing snow to people, and like kind of heating up places that are just kind of cold, all that stuff, yada yada yada. Okay, a hurricane comes and hits and like does like another New Orleans. Who's getting blamed?
Mm.
That's not something that like if there's someone with that power, it's not like they would say, oh, it's an act of God or whatever they're going to call it now. It's like DPayne did
It's
this.
an act of DPayne.
It's an act, which not on its own, as I've been saying multiple times, I wouldn't mind getting put in the New York Times as some sort of controversial thing.
Was it DPayne that caused the tropical storm?
Was it? Or wasn't it? Yeah, exactly. Like people say, why didn't you stop this? And it's like that would be a downside. But then that means all the world or country's salt is aimed at me. But the other thing is, like, what are you going to do? I can literally like do weather at you
Yeah.
to make you be quiet.
We're here to fight you, DPayne. Oh no, a tornado! Ah.
Yeah, it'll be like Russia in World War II. Like, oh man, it's a tundra, and guess what? All your things don't work because you're waiting in the snow for months.
Attrition.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, that's my number one. That's not my number one.
Your
That's
runner-up.
my runner-up.
Yeah, I mean.
What's your number one? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say yours. You said you're doing it out of convenience, and my number one is out of convenience. I would like the ability to teleport.
Oh, that was a tough one as well.
But there are so many ways that teleportation is portrayed that some of them are great and some of them are absolute trash that I had trouble deciding. But I was like, you know what? If I can just manage to save travel and just go wherever I want eventually, then I'll take it. Because I know, what is it? In the movie Jumper, the main character in that has to see a picture of the place. But then there's like Nightcrawler, who doesn't need to see the place before, but always gets stuck in walls until he's like familiar with the place. And there's other people that I've heard of. I can't remember where exactly, but in order to teleport to a place, they have to have physically been there at least once. Mm-hmm. And it's like there's so many variations of it. But if any mixture of those allows me to say, I feel like going to Hawaii for like a night, and then poof, I'm in Hawaii for a night. I'm like, yeah, I don't have to worry about planes. I don't have to worry about baggage. I don't have to worry about any of the stuff. I get to go. I get to be there.
You would probably like, I think her name is Blink, or Blinks, where she throws a crystal and it just opens up a portal and you can walk through.
This is in...
X-Men.
Okay.
As I said.
Because that
And
kind of
as
sounds like Wraith and Apex. Because Wraith has the 2 portals she opens up for your teammates, and then the other teammates can come through.
Okay, I only know this from YouTube clips, well, Twitch clips that are put on YouTube where I watch streamers accidentally lead their friends into a lava pit and then proceed to scream.
That is funny. But yeah, like I
Uh,
do see there are like various forms of teleportation, whether it's like full on blink and you go somewhere, or it's you can just go so far in a quick amount of time. But either way,
mhm.
I hate dealing with maintenance for my car. I hate dealing with waiting in airports for everything. I hate all of that stuff. I would just poof and go where I want.
That would save so much on just like, once again, in streamer life with cons,
Oh yeah.
like you wouldn't need a hotel. You just like, "Okay, I'm going home,"
Yeah.
and then you're like, I'll see you guys in the morning. If you're lucky enough, man, you just like, if it's a picture thing, you just have someone take a picture of like the inside of the con, and it's like, okay, no one's there, right? Yeah. Okay, good. And then you just bamf right in there.
Exactly. It'd be perfect. Like, can you take a picture of the parking lot next to the con?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
parking. I wouldn't have to pay for parking.
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have to pay for tickets for anything, like trains or anything. Yeah, Symmetra in Overwatch also has the teleportation, except hers is limited in, like, she just has to, like, put the 2 zones in it and be able to go back and forth.
And hope no one shoots it.
And hope no, yeah, hope no one walks across it in, like, the middle of New York City goes, the heck is this? And then, like, kicks it.
Well, it's New York City, so.
They're gonna kick it.
Well, probably not now. I don't know how many people are walking around in New York.
No,
So,
New Jersey and is still pretty closed down. I'd imagine New York is as well.
it's like, what is this? I don't know. If I saw what happened to that robot that was trying to do the cross country across America.
Oh, that poor robot.
Yeah. Philly, baby.
Everyone was like, "Oh, a little robot," and then people just
Yeah.
beat it up.
People are like, it made it through New York. How did it stop in Philly? Like, it's not even that far.
It was like a
the
hitchhiking robot. Yeah.
Yeah, it made its whole way like through Europe, and like all the way through there, and you're like, yeah, let's go across America. We'll drop it off in like New York, or like wherever. I don't know, remember where exactly. And then it got to Philly and just got
Wrecked.
it got.
Poor
and
guy.
then other Philadelphians went and fixed it up and sent it on its way, and it made it.
But yeah, I mean, there is also Tracer who kind of teleports blinks, but again, that's also pretty short range. Like, she definitely, I don't know how far she goes, but she also has the ability to kind of do a little bit of like time manipulation because she'll rewind to a point where she's not hurt anymore. So that's kind of like, that's a mix of my. No, it's not really a mix of my precognition and teleportation. It's
Imagine also
different.
having it like a horror movie, where it's just like, hey, you gonna be here? And it's like, oh yeah, give me a second. And it's like, okay. And then they like look to the left, and then they look to the right, and then they look back to the left, and you're like, hey, just like,
Boo.
like, just like, stop it.
Yeah, and the only downside I could see is if there's any way that I could be able to bring someone, like, you know, in some ways they say you can carry one person with you when you do certain abilities.
Mhm.
I would never hear the end of it be like, hey Hop, I was hoping to get there, but I'm running a little late, can you drop me off at work? Okay. That would be annoying.
Constantly asking to come over.
That would be a pain in the butt. But then again, I guess it could also be lonely if it's just me that's like, oh, I'm in Hawaii. It's like, oh, we'll see you there in like 12 hours after we get past all the flights and all the security and all that. And I'm like, cool, I'm out.
We're just like, let me know when you land. I'll be there.
I'll probably get in a full day's adventuring before you get here.
With the TARDIS. Yeah, it's definitely like this was also one that I was thinking of for number 3 as well. Sorry, not number 3, for my runner up. Because it is that convenience, like that whole thing of convenience. I just think the ability to create air conditioning no matter where I'm standing just wins.
I mean, yeah, you would have the best time at like an amusement park. You'd be like standing there, and everyone else is sweating in the heat, and you're like, I feel good. I feel fine.
You know what? If I had my runner up, and because my number one is very much me centric, and it is very much like no way this would help anyone. But it actually would probably get me more in trouble. But anyway, with that, like, okay, so let's just say if you were able to teleport people and I had the ability over weather, it's just like, okay, yeah, like just the Hawaii situation. It's like, man, it's kind of muggy. Oh, DPayne, are you free? Yeah, I guess. Why? And then poof, I'm there giving free air conditioning. It's like, okay, I guess I'm not helping this farmer. Oh man, pointless Discord help squad where you just teleport me where we need to go and I just do the things.
We would
That
never
way
stream. We would never make podcasts. We would always be on call. We would
Yeah.
actually have physical beepers because we wouldn't want to have to like get phone calls.
Oh, but then it'd be free living. Because I don't know any superhero in Marvel or DC that has to pay taxes. Maybe Xavier.
Well, I guess it depends. Well, I'd imagine if you live somewhere stagnant, then you would have to pay taxes. Like I imagine Bruce Wayne pays taxes.
Oh yeah, but
like
I was thinking,
where does Superman live anywhere?
Yes. Well, like he's Clark Kent, so like here's.
But Clark Kent has a day job that he pays
yes,
taxes
Clark Kent
with.
has a day job.
But Superman.
Yeah, Superman doesn't have to pay taxes. He can just go to the Fortress of Solitude up in the North Pole and talk to Crystal Dad.
Crystal Daddy.
But yeah, it's definitely like DC and Marvel, like this is where they split because like it's very much like gods. Like DC is like gods trying to become human or like pass as human, where you have like Superman who is like and Wonder Woman, the Flash. It's like the Greek pantheon right there, but
Mm-hmm.
their alter egos are the they're when they go and meet other people. Actually, that's more true for Superman. Superman became a much more interesting character when I looked at the view of Superman isn't the alter ego, Clark Kent is. and all that, and so it's just so like yeah, he still has to pay all that, but like in Marvel it's very much what's it called, like they excuse me, they go in and like they have a whole story. The whole part of Civil War is, which they kind of touch with this in the movie but not as much, but like the whole point of the Civil War in the Marvel universe was pretty much these people, like this huge this huge event happens which causes government forces like, we should know who these masked vigilantes are, and then maybe we can like put them into super teams and then station them all around, but like we know their identity, we are able to work with them and like kind of help them out. And like there's just like a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that, but like Captain America's like, no, like just let people to help, like you got to be free, and Tony Stark is much more on the side of, no, we need to, like, people can't hide behind a mask. And it's a much more interesting story than what they did in the movies. I'm sorry, I
didn't watch the movies. I have no ill will, but Marvel's never really been one for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm now, like, for if people want to know like where DPayne aligns with where he likes to read comics, I like Image comics a lot more because the way they're written is pretty much a author comes up and he's like, I have an idea for a story, and Image is like, okay, do a test run. If it does well, you can keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot more, kind of like how some production companies are like, yeah, we don't care about the pitch. If season 1 does well, we'll keep funding you.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
that kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, teleportation is interesting. Like, always when people bring up teleportation though, like, and they're like, that's not my power, it always comes up with the line of, well, what if you get like you teleport and you're like stuck in a wall. That's
I
funny.
did cite
I know
Nightcrawler.
you said it. I know you did say it, and it's just like, yeah, sucks to be you.
There's just so many variations of it that I think people want to limit it because it's too convenient. Like
Hmm.
telepathy, they limit it just by you having it. But if you could teleport based on an image that is extremely broken, you do lessen it by making it so that you have to physically be there once. And then if you have to guesstimate where you're teleporting to, then they say like, oh, maybe you get stuck in a wall, or maybe you're like half of you goes and the other half doesn't. And it's like I would prefer that even if I get stuck in a wall, I just stay intact.
Yeah.
Just all of me in the wall, please.
All of me in that wall. Um, can you imagine though, just like you teleport and it's just like you mess up and you're in a wall, but just like your face sticks out, and it's like someone comes over and just like, yep, just getting the pizza out. Oh my gosh, there's a face on my wall. Just,
There's
hey,
just a
buddy.
Facebook just like, what's up?
I'm Mother Willow.
What a Pocahontas. But yeah, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add on.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, my number one is that's the end of the podcast now. My number one is always my number one. Whenever I think about it, um, and it is, as I said earlier, very very selfish. I wouldn't be able to help people, but it is a healing factor. Very much like me and Hop were talking the other day, and I joked about, oh, is all your powers going to be healing based? And she said like Wolverine. In the back of my head, I was like, it's kind of like my number one. So, but man, it's the healing factor thing. Where it's just like, oh, you break your arm, it just heals super fast. You get any kind of anything, like anything that could hurt you, mercy main. Dude, I would have to play Overwatch to be a mercy main. I don't even know which one Mercy. Oh, she's the one with the stick.
Yeah, she
And
doesn't have self healing, I don't think.
no, not that I remember. But yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I was gonna bring source material because there's a comic run of Wolverine. I believe it's called The Best Wolverine, the best at what he does, or something like that. It's not a. It only had like, was like a year run, but in that comic, you learn that there's other people that have healing factors and that they've been around a lot longer than Wolverine. The best at what he does. Yes. I think that's what it is. And this whole thing is like these people are just nuts because they all got together and found out they just like tested their powers, and since Wolverine is like the new hotness of healing factor, they pretty much captured him and was just testing him. And it kind of explains, because I think this happens before for other people that are familiar with the X-Men or just Marvel Universe. There was a thing called House of M, where it's where Wolverine remembers his past and kind of messes up the utopia that was built. But he but before he has this, they really don't know how his power works, and in this it really like kind of just explains it, where they just kind of capture him and they just keep like pretty much torturing him for like months on end, just like, okay, what happens if we just fill this room with gas? Oh, okay, he just gets better. Like his healing factor like goes in and neutralizes the toxins in the air. And then there's like this other part. This is why I was saying like some of these scenes are kind of gross, where they show his healing factor, like they're testing his healing factor, and this guy, his whole ability is just shooting diseases out of his hand. And he's like, yeah, I just combined like it's like the bubonic plague with Ebola and leprosy. And he's just like, I just shot into this room. He keeps his healing factor keeps getting faster, like the more stuff we throw at it, the faster it gets. And and then it kind of goes into the line like in the past, like when there's, for people who don't know, there was like a super traumatic thing that happens with Wolverine in this past, and the way he kind of comes Logan is someone kept telling him to be like this person who was also named Logan to hide him, like so that way he didn't get like hunted, and his brain healed in such a way that it became like his mannerisms and started shifted to this person, and that's how we kind of got the Logan, like the Wolverine that we know. And so like the healing factor of Wolverine is a lot more powerful than what people think, or like kind of think it is. And so yeah, it's just one of those things that I think is really, really cool, and I would really like it because I wouldn't want to have health insurance anymore.
Very convenient as well.
That is the one.
Yeah, but Strider was explaining to me Wolverine's like overall powers, because am I remembering it incorrectly, or has he technically been alive since like the Civil War?
Longer.
Well, he was in the Civil War.
He was in the Civil War. He was in World War One, World War Two. Yeah, he's like over 300 years old. Well, yeah. I don't know. He died, but he came back. I don't know where it is anymore. I haven't been keeping up, but yeah, he yeah, he's super old, which is normally the argument that people, I think where you're going is what people always say to me. But go ahead.
No, but I was just meaning like his health regeneration is so good that he can live for such a long time and still be physically competent. Like, you know, there are like the people that have like immortality and all that stuff, but you just don't die, which doesn't mean you have increased healing powers. Like there was I can't remember in the Misfits show, they gave him the ability of immortality, but when he got injured, it hurt him constantly. Does it hurt Wolverine when he heals?
Yeah. It's oh, by the way, to answer your question, chat, Logan is older. He's like from the 1600s.
Yeah, Captain America is from like the 50s.
Yeah. Like Logan is way older. Like Logan is so much older than Captain America that there's legends of Wolverine from World War One that they tell in World War Two, and he's still there, and people are like, oh no. So,
yeah, Captain America was frozen over in like the 1950s.
Yeah, so but yeah, no, Wolverine does get hurt. He does feel like there's a part where he, like, because there's a part where he takes over and makes his own kind of X-Men school, and he's constantly like that thing that they say in My Hero, where they're like always try to be increasing and learning your powers. He keeps telling that, like, it's a really cool story arc, which really annoys me. I don't know if JR's still in chat and read it, where when they kind of build up to killing Wolverine, it's like a real bummer because he had a really cool story arc where he was stopping to become the berserker character that he was, and like learning how to pretty much be an adult and care for people and like become more of a mentor and teacher, which also helped him grow as well. Because one of the things like he would make sure his teachers would tell the students is like always be learning your powers, increasing it. And he's sitting there and he's like talking to this medical person and he's like, can I do this? And they're like, you do realize if you do this, you're going to be in the most pain ever because you're literally ripping muscles in half for you to do what you're trying to do. And he's like, but can I do it? And they're like, yeah, just it's going to really suck until your healing factor kicks in and fixes it. And he's like, okay. And like he does it in that episode and he's just like cursing the whole time, like, what the dom, my leg. But
gotcha. Yeah, because I think his ability is, I don't know, it seems better than immortality, because immortality to me just means that like you can technically live forever, but whether or not you live physically well is different than having the healing ability that can help counteract the negative effects that come with aging.
Hmm. Well, he does age. It's just a lot slower.
I mean, yeah, Old
Because
Man Logan is a thing.
Old Man Logan, yeah. Well, I didn't know how much you know, so.
I watched the movie. I cried.
Yeah, like, um, it's one of those things I would suggest, like, if if you're interested, anyone, not just that, but anyone that's interested in reading the comic that Logan is based off of, it's like the movie Logan is really good. The original comic is based off of is also really, really good as well. Um, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, uh, like that healing factor is always going, and then there is a point in time when his healing factor just slows down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's a scene in the original comic where I don't remember how it sets up, but like pretty much there's a scene where he just gets riddled with bullets and everyone's like, and he's so far out of the game that literally no one knows who Wolverine or Logan is. And in the original comic, just for people to know, for Old Man Logan, this run, the U.S. is in like in a post-apocalyptic state where superheroes failed, and now all the villains have taken America over, and they have different subsections of it. And the whole point is like Wolverine gets contacted by Hawkeye, and they take the Spider Mobile. Yes, Spider-Man used to have a car, and they do a road trip to bring like medicine to the East Coast or something, and he has to do it because he's in debt and has to pay back like the inbred Hulk people, which is another whole thing. But what I was saying is that he pretty much gets shot with all these bullets, and they think he's dead, but like no one knows that he has a healing factor, and they bring him in, and there's like this guy, and they're just like, oh man, did you kill this person? Okay, cool. And they're like, and they look over like, why is that bag moving? He's like, we thought we killed him. And they open up, and I forget which villain it is, and immediately recognizes that it's Wolverine. He's like, no. And like Wolverine just wakes up and just kills everybody in there.
That's hilarious. What an awful plot twist for that villain.
Yeah, I think it's one of the Captain America ones.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's normally when I bring this up, people always bring up the line just of, but yeah, you would outlive all your family and like friends and everything, to where, well, as my brother brought this up this week when I mentioned it, I was like, yeah, but that means I win.
Superior genetics.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where I do think it would be very interesting to like if Wolverine could actually hold a conversation that like as he was, and like people were talking with him in the past, that or like as he was starting to have this like change in him, like I think it'd be really interesting to go and ask someone like, well, how was it 100 years ago? Like, how have we changed? And it's like being someone like that, which I highly doubt that's what would happen, because I see how the older generation gets treated. It's like, I don't know. It's just something like that. I think would be, it'd be very interesting to have like that live action, or like have someone you're like, I don't know, just hearing like people like from the, I don't even know if there's people that are still alive from the Great Depression, but just kind of hearing them talk about it was very interesting, and just kind of going through things through in the past that we hear people in the news like make claims like, oh, it's like this, and then there's like a person lived through it, and they just like, yeah, but actually. And
yeah,
it'd be, I don't know, it's stuff like that I think would be very interesting to be able to do. But then again, it's like, so DPayne, how was it in the year 2020? I made a podcast.
and everything else around went bad.
Was there anything else? Mixer ended. Anything else? Maybe. So That's a joke. I know there's a bunch of other things that have went on. If you're gonna at me, do it at twitter.com/Hoppocalypse. It's
Wow. So we did run a little long.
Yeah, I kind of figured it was going to with superpowers. It's one of those things I don't know how to be quiet about.
It's fine. So one quiz out of the 3 that we have a list of. Pick one.
Oh no. Well, get out of here. There we go. Part of me is wondering, the first one, like, what powers should we have?
You like that phrasing? Should you have?
Yeah, because the other ones are kind of like, I don't know. I didn't really look at them.
I didn't look at it much either.
This one says it's a 5-minute quiz. So it's gonna take about 10 minutes.
The first one?
Yeah. Okay. I know the BuzzFeed quiz is normally pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
How many quizzes or how many questions is the one? Yeah, let's see. I'm just like scrolling through to find out how many questions there are. Oh, it
6.
goes on. Then it says continue the quiz.
Oh, well, if they're just trying to steal ad money from us, then nope. All right, so the BuzzFeed or the should you have?
What else should we have? I don't think it's. I'm just scrolling. Oh man, this is a long one, but it doesn't seem like, just kind of scrolling through, it doesn't look like it's a cat quiz or stuff that we have to really like deeply dig in on.
You say that every quiz. And then they ask us one question and you're like, which one am I?
Yeah. I'm okay.
All right.
I don't know. What do you want to do, Hop?
I just want to pick a quiz because I know we're already over in time.
Look, we're still under time for the 2 hours.
We should not hit 2 hours again. All right. This quiz, I'm putting the links in the chats. For anyone that's in chat and would like to participate in the quiz with us, let us know what you get.
Yep. And for anyone that, if you're anyone here live or is listening to this later, at the end of the conversations, we bring up a quiz and take it and see the results that kind of either tie in or loosely tie in with the subject. So
now we're going to find out what kind of superpower should we have. So I think you go first, or do we have to swap it because you're the last one to talk about your favorite one because we talked about your least favorite?
Yeah, I forget our rules. You can go ahead.
All right.
You can say it.
So first question, which superpower would you want to have? Super strength, super speed, shape-shifting, or teleportation?
Oh, this is a mistake. Now I'm already like,
I knew it. Out of these, yeah, teleportation. Oh, look at my 2!
Hey, and which power would you never want to touch? X-ray vision, control over weather. Mind control, telekinesis. Well, okay, there we go.
X-ray vision.
Mind control.
How would you use those?
Oh wait, no, mind control. No, sorry, I misread that. Yeah, X-ray vision.
How would
I was reading minds. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. How would you use those powers? For good, to play pranks on people, however I want, to get revenge. I teleport to do whatever I want.
Yeah, but to play pranks on people is also super strong.
That is.
That'd be whatever I want to. Okay. Oh man, do we have the same answers already? Okay.
I think so.
All right. Which one of these adorable animals would be your mascot? A kitty cat, a puppy, squirrel, or a mouse?
There's no rabbit.
I see that.
Out of these, I'll pick a puppy.
I don't like any of these things. I'll choose a squirrel.
Squirrel girl?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I'm allergic to cats. I can't have cats.
Right. Which of these would be your weakness? Myself, love, death, or temptation?
Death is a pretty strong weakness.
Yeah, unless you have immortality. Isn't that everybody's? Unless you're talking about the seductress that is death.
Oh yeah,
Deadpool and
Thanos, yeah.
Well, with teleportation, It could either be myself or temptation. Because if I get greedy and want to be somewhere, that's because I'm tempted to go somewhere and I waste my powers. Or myself, because I convinced myself, hey, you should go there using your teleportation. I'll go temptation.
I listen to myself talk. It's gonna be myself. Hey, who would you want to be your sidekick? Robin, Wally West, Batgirl, Harley Quinn.
I'm looking
Which
up who
Batgirl?
Wally West is.
Wally West is the Flash's sidekick. He runs super fast.
Another person that runs super fast.
Yeah, there's like a good 10.
I don't think I could listen to Harley Quinn for too long. I think Robin, depending which Robin, they could either be really annoying or just really snooty.
Really brooding.
Yeah.
That's the problem with choosing the Bat Kids, because there's like 800 of each of them.
There's only like 4 Robins.
And there's about like 4 Batgirls.
I think I'll pick Batgirl because overall, I dislike the General Robins more than I dislike the General Batgirls.
Yeah. I was thinking Batgirl as well. Mainly because if I remember Wally West, he was really annoying. Alright, which superhero do you look up to the most? Superman, The Flash, Mystique, Mystique? Oh, man.
People
Nightcrawler.
look up to Mystique?
It's that shapeshifter thing. I'm wondering if this only has like 4 answers now.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Nightcrawler. Come on, teleportation.
I'll choose Soups.
Which villain gets on your last nerve? Brainiac, Captain Cold, Hyperion, or Magneto? I don't really know these so well.
Brainiac was a giant robot man who... He's like a supercomputer, and all he wants to do is like...
Does he have the dangly legs? And kind of floats?
No. He's... I think that's MODOK.
Oh, you're right, that is.
Yeah, so Brainiac...
Oh, okay. I fought him in Injustice 2.
There you go. Captain Cold is he's a guy...
Anti-Flash.
No. Captain Cold is just this guy in like a winter jacket with a gun that shoots ice. Magneto...
Oh, I thought he was a Flash villain, though.
Oh, yes, he is a,
yeah.
He is a Flash wife. I'm not sure who Hyperion is.
Apparently he's Marvel from my Google search. Showed up in the Avengers. None of these wikis are telling me anything about him other than he appeared in the Avengers. Scrolling. I mean, if we don't know who he is...
He's the one that's getting on my last nerves because I have to look him up.
Oh no, I don't like the Cold, so I'll pick Captain Cold.
Looking at him. Oh, he's... Let's see. Alter Ego...
All versions of Hyperion possess superhuman strength, stamina, speed, durability, flight, and in a few cases, powerful breath.
Yeah, he's a Superman. Evil Superman. I think he's a Greek god.
Okay.
I think Brainiac would get on my nerves. He's just annoying. Okay, which one of these weapons would you want? Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, Wolverine's claws, or Silver Surfer's sword?
I don't want his claws if I don't get his healing ability.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Silver Surfer's board.
I'm gonna choose Thor's hammer because depending on which comic line you're running, you turn into Thor.
What color would definitely be in your outfit? Blue, red, yellow, or black? Blue.
Yeah. Cape or no cape? Definitely cape. It will hold me back. Maybe a short one. I'm still undecided.
It'll hold me back.
Yeah, no, I watched The Incredibles.
No capes.
No capes.
Are you good at keeping secrets? Sometimes, not really. Yes, I am. I'm the worst.
Wow.
Sometimes.
This is a very awkward thing to admit on a live podcast. Yeah, I would say sometimes because 90% of the time I forgot people told me said secret.
So you're keeping the secrets. It's perfect.
Yep. Okay, if you worked in a mutant school, what job would you have? Principal, lab tech, teacher, or counselor?
Lab tech.
Um,
Least amount of talking to other people.
I don't know.
I was basically a lab tech in college anyway.
I'm too dumb to be a lab tech. Dang it. And principal means I gotta talk. Probably counselor.
As a superhero, which of these beings would you rather fight? Aliens, criminals, monsters, or villains?
Villains encompasses all of these.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah. This just depends what tier villain hero do you want to be?
I like the idea of fighting monsters. I'm just fighting against kaiju, and it's just like Godzilla-esque stuff, so I'm going to pick monsters.
As well.
Teleport to fight kaiju, I would be useless.
Hello. Oh no. Where's those Pacific Rim robots? Criminals would be a good thing. Like, I kind of would think villains would be interesting because then you get to like learn them and everything. But then once they find out your like identity and all that stuff,
They never stop.
Like, look, I would be the worst person to hide my identity. My literal real name is in my stinking stream name. Oh, choose villains though. Who read you read the last one.
Mm-hmm.
You see an otherworldly dragon flying towards the city. What do? Try to tame it, ask it to go away, kill it, catch it. It's Pokemon.
Tame it.
Yeah, as soon as I'm like, well, I know what yours is. Okay, I have to choose this one because this is very much my meme answer when when anyone is having a hard time video games, which is like, can you just ask them to stop? It's just kindly ask it to go away.
Which season do you have the most fun in? Summer, autumn, winter, or spring? I like autumn.
I like autumn and winter. I'm gonna choose autumn because you can still go outside and not die and sweat. Hey, which element would you like to control? Oh, so Avatar. The blue people.
Of course.
Fire, I like the heat. Earth, because I'm pretty grounded. Water, I'm very fluid. Air, I'll go where the wind blows.
Well, if I have to be honest about who I am the earth one. I am not fluid, and I don't go wherever the wind goes. And I don't like the heat.
I don't like the heat. I'll say I'm fluid if I'm going by these descriptions.
Okay, if you were the god of the skies, which of these would be your favorite toy? Lightning, hail, thunder, or rain?
Oh, hail would be so much fun.
Playing pranks on people with hail.
Yeah, it's hail. It's hail.
I think rain for me.
It would just be funny. Just like, what you say about me? And then just like, boom. Hey. How do your friends describe you? Diligent, funny, mysterious, mischievous? Is there a skip?
Yeah, I guess I'll say diligent.
People said I was funny, so I will say funny. Ha 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 ha.
You totally believe in your answer.
Yeah, haha.
Out of these things, what is most important to you? Strength, fame, wealth, or beauty? Strength.
Muscles on for Hop. Just like that. Oh, what's it? Fairly Odd Parents, where Timmy wishes he's the strongest thing on the beach, and stronger things proceed to keep getting onto the beach. Where it ends up like they just look over and there's a whale that washed up, and he's like, no. Seems like one of these dumb Kingdom Heart answers.
Yeah.
none of these are really important. Let's do strength as well. Okay, what kind of student were you? Quiet, loud, weird, troublesome?
I was quiet.
Where's the one that just slept through class?
I mean, technically that's quiet.
Yeah, I think that's what it would be.
What was your favorite class? Gym, history, English, or math?
Where's lunch?
Math for me.
Where's lunch? It was on the schedule, so it was a subject. I'm gonna say history. Oh, me. What dog breed goes best with Beth? What dog breed goes best with your lifestyle and personality? German Shepherd, Pit Bull, Dash Down, Golden Retriever.
Dachshund.
Dachshund.
Mm-hmm. Wiener dog.
Oh. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of the German Shepherd and Golden Retrievers are smart, active dogs. Pit Bulls are also active. But I'm not really... Small dogs are too yippy for me. I guess I'll go Golden Retriever, because they're the friendlier one.
Hello.
Doug from Up.
Yeah.
I just met you, but I love you.
Squirrel. Yeah, Golden Retriever is what I chose as well.
If you could choose one field to work in, which would it be? Journalism, law enforcement, medicine, or sports?
None.
I don't like any of them. I guess
The thing is,
journalism?
I know that so many of my answers have been putting me into the Superman tier. If I choose journalism, I'm going to be pushed more into that Superman tier. And law enforcement is just like I don't know, a hot topic to choose right now. What? I totally didn't. What did you say?
I said journalism.
Journalism. I'm looking at myself, and I know where my intelligence stands. It's gonna have to be sports. I will be with one of those people on the microphone. And number 54 went and hit the thing. Oh, and I think he's dead. Psych, he's back. Who read the last one? You.
Yes.
The one before that was that. Okay. Your weekend usually consists of doing which of the following? Dinner with a loved one, partying, staying in, meeting up with friends.
Stay in.
Well, everyone's staying in.
What kind of movies are the absolute best? Action, comedy, thriller, or adventure? I like thriller.
There's no horrors. So
That's why I went with thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thriller. Hey, which DC movie are you looking most forward to see? What does that have to do with anything?
None of these.
None of them. Okay,
I think which one was Wonder Woman the only highly rated one? Yeah, let's go Wonder Woman.
Aquaman, I think, was also rated. By the way, for anyone that
I
is
didn't
listening,
really care for his version or that version of Aquaman. I'm used to the snooty, I'm the prince of the fish people Aquaman.
I'm the prince of the ocean. For people who are listening, it's Justice League Part 1, The Flash, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. I remember I didn't watch any of them.
No, I didn't watch any of them either.
I was burnt out on superhero movies, so I'll choose Wonder Woman. I heard it was good.
Do you feel like you need to help people? Yes, most times, not really, sometimes. Sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. Oh no, I'm torn between sometimes and most times. I'll choose most times. How honest are you? Extremely. Mostly. Not very. Somewhat.
Mostly.
Not very. Yeah. Yeah, no, people say I'm super blunt, which is normally on it. Yeah, I'm gonna just say not extremely. Oh, last question.
If superpowers were real, would you really want them? I already have powers? Not sure, of course, or it could be a bad idea. Not sure, because I definitely don't already have powers.
I want to say of course, but I don't know what I'm getting from this quiz.
I did not expect what I got.
Of course. Yeah, I kind of expected. What did you get?
I got super speed. I have the same powers as the Flash and Quicksilver. Speedsters are incredibly funny and easygoing people. They like having fun and lightening the mood, especially when things get tense. For some reason, speedsters are always in relationships. There's just something very lovable about them that makes them irresistible to others. Speedsters are also major softies. Eh. Eh.
Just, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
I got super strength. You would have the same superpower as Superman and the Hulk. Heroes and people with super strength tend to be extremely pure, hearts of gold, and they have a strong moral compasses, and and very rarely stray from the path of being good. People with super strength always feel the need to be protectors, so they make incredible friends and family members. I don't have a noise like Hop to make after this.
But it does look like if there are only 4 options to this quiz, then we got all of them because 2 people in chat, one person said they got teleportation, somebody else got shapeshifting. So it's either only those 4 or there's more.
Yeah. Oh, wait. View comments. Let's see.
Yeah, but if you're listening to this in the audio version, feel free to share your results with us on Twitter so that we could all poke fun at the fact that this quiz has decided that I should always be in relationships and I'm
You're
irresistible and I'm a major softie.
You're a major softie. That's my favorite. Hoppocalypse, major softie.
One comment, blank. Beautiful.
Yeah, there's no comments.
It's just a period.
Look, we chose. I leaned more to this quiz because of the wording. Let's do the BuzzFeed one. That's quick.
No, we don't have time, DP.
We have time. We edit this. We always have time.
You don't edit it. You just get the. We don't really cut anything out though.
I cut out the first 30 minutes because that's normally how long it takes for us to actually get.
Well, yeah, but we started at 3:30. What time is it now?
Look, we don't have to look at time. Yeah, it's probably another long one. Yeah, so that is it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is going on. Once again, for people that are here listening or made it this far in the podcast, thank you. But also, we are asking for people to send in questions, whether it's on our social medias, which if you guys are listening to, want a link, brain just died. If you guys are listening to this later, not live, the links are down in the description. Or for people that are in chat now, it is twitter.com/Itisdpayne or twitter.com/Hoppocalypse. You can go there and let us know what questions you want us to say. Also, you could go to twitter.com/pointlessdisco and send us a message on there of what is a question you want us to answer for the community show that's going to happen on August 1st. And yeah, there's that. And
you need to roll.
To roll. Yep.
You get to roll.
I get to roll because I'm a terrible roller. This is why I DM.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're looking at it, did you see the notes that I wrote for number 8?
Yeah, one note. But so to clarify, the community Discord thing, or community Pointless Discourse podcast, is going to be something planned for August 1st. The questions can be related to whatever, the quizzes can be related to whatever. It's just a time for us to all for you guys to get to know us and DPayne as, content creators and podcasts more. It's not necessarily just the next thing that's coming up. And what DPayne is rolling on now will determine the second topic. Last week, zombie weapons did not pass the vote. So zombie weapons will now be versing.
No lie. League/TFT champions.
So in our twitter.com/pointlessdisco, shortly after this, we'll have the survey up for you guys to vote on that to decide which topic we talk about next. And when we say zombie weapons, we mean things like weapons you would use against zombies if there were to be a zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, honestly, if you just really wanted to hear our thoughts on this, you could just show up on Tuesday. But it's you get the same podcast twice. But yeah. So yeah, those are 2 things. If you guys go to twitter.com/pointlessdisco, that quiz will be up shortly, and we can do that. And trying to think if there's anything else. The only other thing that I can think of is if you want, hey, I would like to see more DPayne Hop interaction. Tuesdays on our stream, which now DPayne is also on Twitch. For people who just listen, Mixer closed. Just look it up. It's all over the internet. We're not going to get into it now due to time, and that's not what our subject is. But I am also on the Twitches at the moment. So, yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, so you can see both of us on Twitch doing TFT Tuesday, which my alerts weren't muted, which I thought they were. There was I don't know what alert went off, but whatever alert it was, thank you.
That's okay. You're recording your audio, so.
Yeah, they won't hear the alert. They'll just hear the
confused DPayne.
But yeah, that is it. Yeah. And yeah. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening and sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed the topics and everything involved. If you did and you listened through this far and you're listening on some form of platform that allows you to do reviews or comments, please leave some for us there. We have ideas for goofy live shows, but to get there, we need to get the podcast rolling. As far as if you're a live audience viewer, other places that you can catch up and listen to this from the beginning, the best resource is anchor.fm /pointless discourse, but we're basically on every listening platform except for we don't do the full podcasts on YouTube and we don't have them on iTunes or Apple,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we're still waiting for Apple Podcasts to say okay.
But
But if you guys want to see clips of the show, we've been slowly uploading different clips. For example, the first one was the best quiz ever. It's the greatest.
Yeah, so we have a couple clips on there. Our Twitter page, we also put little clips and little excerpts from there too.
And yeah, that's it. Well, bye.